Have you ever thought that when a narcissist hurts you, there is a strange force at work, like God stepping in to fix things slowly but surely? Consider a situation in which the person who used to drain your energy, control your feelings, and break your sense of self starts to go through a series of events that feel like miraculous payback. Today, we're going to talk about the deep and sometimes amazing ways that God gets back at the narcissist who hurt you. This talk will delve into the secret workings of divine justice and show how these cosmic interventions help people whose lives have been tipped out of balance by narcissistic abuse. We are going to look at 8 different ways that the world, or what some people might call God, seems to punish people who lie and hurt others. Stay with me until the end as I use clear, easy-to-understand words to solve these mysteries. I will do this by using clinical observations, psychological research, and real-life case studies that show how divine justice shows up in the strangest ways. By the end of this trip, you'll understand that these events aren't just random. They are strong signs that healing and justice are possible, giving you hope and the chance to take back your life. Hello, and welcome back to the Narcissist Revealed channel. Today we're going to talk about a subject that affects both the spiritual and psychological sides of people. I want you to come with me on this trip as we learn about the 8 ways God gets back at the narcissist who hurt you. This is a hard truth to face, but it can help you heal and gain power. Before we start, please remember to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with anyone who could use these tips. Thanks for all your help in making our town a better place where people value honesty, toughness, and bravely seeking justice. Speaking from my own experience as a psychologist and using well-known research and clinical insights, I will explain in clear, simple language how these 8 divine interventions not only punish the narcissist for their lies, but also give people who are trying to escape their control hope. Whether you are still healing from narcissistic abuse, or just want to learn more about how spiritual and psychological justice relate to each other, this talk will give you useful information and ideas. Let's go on this life-changing trip together as we look at the powerful ways that divine justice shows up in the lives of people who have been hurt by narcissistic cruelty. The main point of this conversation is the obvious fact that narcissists love to control, trick, and take advantage of people who are weak. They put up complicated facades of charm and superiority while hiding deep-seated fears and an intense need to be validated all the time. What does the narcissist do when the truth comes out and their carefully constructed world starts to fall apart? The first way divine justice seems to step in is by taking away the narcissist's source of narcissism, which is what keeps them going. When you stop giving in to their manipulative demands, when you take back your freedom, and when you refuse to be their only source of love, you leave a hole that they can't fill. God seems to be there to warn them that their power is short-lived, and that they don't really have control over things. Clinical studies have shown that when a narcissist's victim starts to break free, the abuser often goes through a deep internal crisis. This is when their false sense of invincibility is broken. They have been depending on narcissistic supply for a long time. When they stop getting it, bad things happen that feel like cosmic punishment. The world is telling us that it's time to bring things back into balance. The second way that divine justice seems to work is by making the narcissist's true nature known to everyone. Over time, the facade of sophistication and charm starts to fall, showing the selfish and manipulative person inside. This kind of public exposure can happen in subtle ways, like a whispered conversation, a scandalous rumor, or an angry outburst that no one saw coming. It hurts the narcissist's carefully built image. People who used to admire the narcissist start to see through their act when the truth comes out, and their power quickly fades. Psychologists have seen that narcissists often get angry and defensive when they are made to face the truth about what they are doing. In the eyes of the community, though, this response only shows how weak they really are. They look like they are under a holy spotlight that shows every lie and trick they are pulling. This public unveiling is a strong form of revenge, because it cuts the narcissist off from other people and breaks their long-held fantasy of being all-powerful. God's punishment also shows up in a third way. People close to the narcissist slowly stop supporting and validating them. Narcissists depend on a group of fans, which can be friends, co-workers, or even family members. These admirers unintentionally help the narcissists lie by constantly confirming how great they are. But if you start to tell the truth and live an honest life, the narcissist will lose power over their network. Narcissists are becoming more and more alone as more people see through their tricks and realize the harm they have caused. This social separation isn't just a result of how they act. It's a form of divine justice that takes away the things they need to keep up their inflated sense of self-worth. Losing social support is one of the worst things that can happen to a narcissist because it leaves them with only their own inner demons. This has been known for a long time in clinical study. If a narcissist doesn't get praise and admiration all the time, they have to face the fact that their life is empty, which can lead to deep sadness and, in many cases, a dramatic fall from grace. The fourth way that divine justice shows up is when the narcissist has major setbacks and failures that seem to go against all of their past successes. People who are narcissists often think they are unbeatable and can get through anything by sheer force of will. But when the truth about their behavior is told, and they are taken away from their narcissistic source, they often have a string of bad luck that shows how weak they are. These setbacks can come in many forms, such as losing everything, having a job fail, or being betrayed by someone close to them. Each one hurts the narcissist's sense of self-worth. It's like a greater power is slowly tearing down the foundations of their fake self, one mistake at a time. Psychologists have found that people who have a lot of failures in a row often get what is called a narcissistic injury, which is a deep emotional wound caused by their inflated self-esteem being chipped away over and over again. This hurts the narcissist so much that they have an internal breakdown because the damage is too great to ignore. Many times, these mistakes are a cosmic punishment meant to remind people that the truth will eventually bring them crashing down, no matter how high they fly on lies. The fifth way that God punishes narcissists is by making them feel bad about themselves when they are faced with their own guilt and shame. Narcissists act brave on the outside, but deep down they are afraid of being found out. They are afraid that if their real nature is found out, they will lose everything. When you stick to your truth, and don't let them manipulate you any longer, you make them go through a very difficult internal battle. This fight often leads to a flood of guilt and shame, which are feelings that someone who has spent their whole life denying their flaws has never felt before. Many narcissists find these times of self-awareness both scary and life-changing, because they force them to face the fact that they are not as perfect as they say they are. The narcissist may try to hide these feelings quickly with anger or more trickery, but the first wave of regret is a clear sign that their foundation is breaking. Clinical studies have shown that not being able to deal with and process shame in a healthy way can lead to self-destructive behaviors and a deep sense of emptiness inside, which is a real sign of divine punishment. Sixth, God gets back at narcissists in a sneaky way. Their carefully built image falls apart, causing them to lose all of their power and influence forever. Not only do you free yourself when you see the truth and refuse to be manipulated, but you also help the narcissist's social and mental hold on you slowly fall apart. If the narcissist doesn't get constant approval from others, their inflated sense of self-importance starts to fall apart, leaving them open and vulnerable. This collapse is often followed by a big change in behavior. The person who was once sure of themselves and in charge starts to act distant, erratic, and desperate to get back in charge. When narcissists feel this way, they may lose their temper or shut down, which are both clear signs that their power isn't as strong as it used to be. This is what psychologists call the fall from grace. The moment when all of their manipulative actions add up, and the lack of narcissistic supply causes their carefully constructed image to fall apart. In this moment of divine justice, the truth you have accepted undoes them, releasing you into a state of true freedom and emotional strength. The seventh way that divine vengeance shows up is when the people around the ego change. If you break free and live your truth, the change in the relationship often affects the narcissist's friends and family. People close to the narcissist, like friends, family, and even co-workers, start to see through their act and see the manipulative patterns for what they are. As more people become aware of the problem, the narcissist's power becomes less strong because the people who used to admire them are pulling away. The narcissist's ego takes a big hit when they lose a group of people who can back them. This makes them feel more alone and unable to keep up the appearance of control. This change in their social circle is another way that God is punishing the narcissist for their actions, while also giving others the strength to look for better, more genuine connections. When people around a narcissist change how they see things, it can be a turning point. The narcissist's power wanes when the truth comes out, and their manipulative strategies stop working. The eighth and final way that God gets back at the narcissist who hurt you is by giving you our strength and independence again. When you refuse to be a player in their game and stand up for what's right, you start to heal. This frees you and weakens the narcissist's control over your life. This coming back to yourself is the highest form of divine justice. It's like being born again when you take back your power and set limits that protect your mental health. When someone is in this state, the narcissist's tricks stop working, and they lose power over time. For a long time, psychological study has shown that the best way to fight back against narcissistic abuse is to take back your identity. Even though the narcissist is always trying to control you, your path to healing shows that real power comes from having the courage to accept your own worth and live your life as it really is. Every time you feel good about yourself or do something on your own, it weakens the narcissist's control over you and makes sure they don't have any more negative effects on your life. As you think about these 8 ways that divine retribution works, the loss of narcissistic supply, the public exposure of their true nature, the withdrawal of social support, the series of personal failures, the surge of guilt and shame within them, the collapse of their self-image, the change in their social circle, and finally, the restoration of your own strength. Remember that these are not just punishments but a deep, cosmic balancing of scales. They come from living a life based on lies and trickery. They are the natural result of a system that can't keep going forever. These revelations are not about getting even with someone, but about taking back your power and finding the strength to live a free and honest life. If you have ever seen the narcissist's control start to fall apart, or how the truth slowly tore down the carefully constructed false image they had built, then your story gives many others hope. Your story, with all of its ups and downs, is a strong reminder that it is not only possible to break free from toxic manipulation, but it can also change your life. Please tell me about your experiences in the comments section below. Your thoughts could help someone else find the strength and courage to break free from the circle of narcissistic abuse. Sharing your story has an impact that goes far beyond your own journey. It helps people who feel stuck in similar situations by giving them support, validation, and inspiration. Every experience that people share helps build a community that supports each other and values truth, healing, and mutual strength. This is a great example of how strong the human spirit is. Thanks for reading all the way through this in-depth look at the 8 evil ways God gets back at the narcissist who hurt you. I really appreciate you taking the time and being involved as we work through these tricky psychological issues. If you learned something from this discussion, felt empowered, or even just a little inspired to regain your freedom, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and sharing it with anyone who could use these ideas. We need your help a lot to make a group that values self-respect, telling the truth, and healing emotionally. Feel free to share your ideas, experiences, and opinions below. This way, we can keep talking about this important topic and help each other understand how to stop narcissistic abuse and accept our true selves. Thank you again for your time, and I look forward to continuing this trip with you as we talk about more transformative topics that help people heal, become resilient, and make changes that last.